Hello, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. In 1968, it was the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. that later led to the birth of the Dance Theater of Harlem. That was in 1969. It was founded by Arthur Mitchell and Carol Shook. The Dance Theater of Harlem became a beacon for Black dancers around the world. Joining me today is the theater's executive director, Anna Glass, and Anna has been in the forefront of transforming the theater into one of the most dynamic cultural institutions of our time. You know, you start with dynamic cultural institution and you're making it better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for being with us.
I'm so honored to be here with you.
So you have such a huge history to build on, you know, with this company, 56 years. That in itself, that it has lasted for 56 years is extraordinary.
It really, really is. You know, we have a magnificent legacy that we stand upon, but what I'm most proud of is the work that we're doing today. You know, that we are continuing the phenomenal work of Arthur Mitchell and providing opportunities for all types of people to participate in this beautiful art form.
So how much of a transformation is it? You know, Dance Theater of Harlem, and I was telling you before that I know the drop-off perfectly. I had a granddaughter who was a dancer when she was young, and we would go, right, you know, and we live in the neighborhood too, so we're, you know, so we're neighbors and an institution. How much does the Dance Theater of Harlem have to change in order to stay current? Well, isn't ballet sort of always not current?
Well,
or?
you know, it is a traditional art form. But what's so brilliant about Dance Theater of Harlem, at every step of every decade of these institutions' existence, we've always made it relevant. You know, what's so beautiful about the art form, you know, it's about joy, it's about storytelling. And for us, it's also about resilience. And these are stories that last the test of time. So yes, it is a traditional art form, and I think a lot of people would think that it's boring or it's not for them, but we make it be part of everyone's lives, that it's a contemporary art form. And you know, with Dance Theater of Harlem, you will see classical work, but then you will also see work set to music that we all know. You know, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, the things that we all grew up listening to, because that's also part of who we are as a people.
Right, right. And what are the things that, I mean, how would you assess the status of Black dancers in ballet in the world these days?
You know, that's a really wonderful question. You know, I think a lot of people think that this art form has not had Black dancers. You know, there have been dancers that have been doing this art form even before Dance Theater of Harlem. Ballet actually came to the United States in the 1930s. At that very same time, Black dancers were also doing ballet. There's a huge, long legacy. It really wasn't until the work of Arthur Mitchell that it really became part of the forefront, that it became part of the vernacular of people recognizing that Black people were doing this art form. But you know, we have decades of dancers even before our wonderful friend Misty Copeland, you know, came along, and we're so grateful that Misty even provided even a greater spotlight. But there have been Black dancers a part of this art form for decades.
And Arthur, of course, being a mentee of Balanchine, the great George Balanchine, I think really impersonalized and made so central, you know, the dancer, the Black male dancer, which is unusual too, for such success.
That's absolutely correct. You know, the story that's been told is that, you know, Balanchine came from Europe. He was hearing this music called jazz, and he wanted to know where is this jazz? Where does it happen? And people said, you know, well, it's in New York. It's in the United States. So he, you know, arrives in this country, and he's here, and he says, well, where do I go to hear that music? And they said, well, you go uptown. And he says, why do I have to go uptown? He said, well, that's where the music is, right? It's Harlem. And so, you know, when you see New York City Ballet, you're very much seeing the influence of his experience in Harlem. And so it is not surprising that he and Arthur Mitchell, they really bonded. You know, George Balanchine really wanted to have a very different type of company than it has today. He wanted to have a company that was 50% Black and 50% white. And, you know, what people forget is that, you know, when Mr. Mitchell was at the height of his career, Emmett Till was murdered. You know, the ballet Agon was choreographed the same year that Emmett Till was murdered. And so having that juxtaposition of what was happening in our country and what was happening on stage is really quite powerful.
And the company has the benefit of a couple of Balanchine dances that belong to you. He gave them to Arthur.
That's right. That's absolutely right. You know, we have Agon. That's, you know, one of the prominent works of George Balanchine. But we also continue to have Balanchine in our work. So, you know, we recently brought in Allegro, which is one of these phenomenal ballets. We're currently going to be doing a new work called Donizetti Variations, which is also a Balanchine work. So, you know, George Balanchine and his ballets are very much a part of the ethos of this institution as well.
And there are, you say, about 20 members of the company now?
Absolutely, from all over the world. Dancers from Brazil, dancers from Oklahoma. You know, we are pulling all sorts of dancers who really want to be part of this institution that come together.
Well, one of the things I remember from bringing my small granddaughter there is the matching of the skin tone to the tights and the slippers. Talk to us about that, because ordinarily, you know, they're one color, that's it, no matter what your skin tone happens to be. But in your ballet company, there's the possibility of a match.
That's right. Mr. Mitchell very much believed deeply that you bring your whole self into the dance studio, not half yourself. Part of it is aesthetic. You know, we don't need to see a beautiful chocolate brown dancer with pink tights. You know, it breaks the line. And ballet is all about the line and the aesthetic, right? But also it was a statement that he was making, that we are brown and we should be proud of who we are and what we look like. So he worked alongside of Zelda Wynn. Zelda was a famous fashion designer. She did the outfits for Lena Horne, all the great Hollywood greats, and he brought her into the organization, and together they came up with a technique for actually dyeing the tights. So they would use teas and inks, and they were intent on actually matching the exact shade of the dancer, and then they would paint the ballet slippers. And again, it was about the line. It was about ensuring that from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes, that you were seamless.
And yes, you were seamless, and you were also regarded. I know that's
right.
what my granddaughter felt, you know, that she was seen, you know, that she was bringing her whole self to, you know, to the dance. We have a clip. I would love to show some of the work that you all do. It's just amazing. Let's roll that now. Unbelievable. So good.
Thank you.
I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to, you've got a big week coming up in April, in the next few days.
That's right.
So I want to go through every single one because I'm marking them off. Yes, I'm going to that one, that one. So on April 10th,
Yes.
there is a Dance Community Night. Talk to us about that.
You know, it's our opportunity to welcome the people who love dance. They just can't get enough of it. You know, it's the dancers, those who are students, the choreographers, the people that want to be there that opening night. So we're welcoming folks in. You know, it'll be a spectacular program, all brand new works. We will have a world premiere, 2 company premieres, and a New York premiere of spectacular works that we really hope everyone sees. And you know, the best part too about coming to the Dance Theater of Harlem event is that we're going to make it fun for you. So there's going to be a DJ. You know,
Right.
it's going to be a real party. But that opening night is for the dance lovers.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I will definitely be there. Now, April 11th, you have your gala honoring.
That's right. So we are honoring the fantastic Darren Walker,
I
the president
know.
of the Ford Foundation. He has been such an integral part of where we are today. And we're so very honored that he has said yes to allowing us to celebrate him. Our honorary chair for the evening is the legendary Ben Vereen. And we have some spectacular gala chairs, Ava DuVernay.
Understand, is she's giving him the award?
She is.
All right.
She
See, I've
is.
been snooping around.
You've been
You know,
snooping around.
that's quite a night.
It
you
is
know,
going to be
so-
a night. It's going to be wonderful. And after the gala event, there's going to be, there's performance, then there's the dinner, and then there's the after party. And we've got DJ D Nice, who is going to be with us. So it'll be a
Right, right.
fun celebratory evening.
I see this. This is not your old ballet. This is, you know, you're
No.
bringing in
That's
the
right.
DJs, right.
right.
That's great. And then the Divine Nine HBCU night. What's that?
Yes, yes. Dance Union of Harlem is deeply rooted in its community. And the Divine Nine and HBCU community has been integral to our success all over the nation, not just in New York City. And so we actually started last year with celebrating the community, bringing the community together, and giving the community opportunity to be part of Dance Union of Harlem in a very, very different way. I'm a member of the D9 community. I have several members of my staff, one of our dancers, and so for us, it is an authentic celebration of this community, that we are also part of this. And not to date myself, Carol, but I was one of the young people who, you remember the Ebony Fashion Fair
Sure.
tour?
Yes.
I was one of the kids who I loved Ebony Fashion Fair when they came to town.
Right.
But what was so beautiful about that, it was that it brought everyone together.
Right,
And so
right.
that is what we are out to do, is to bring everyone together. Again, it is a celebration of a very particular and special part of our community.
Right, right. And I can tell from the Kamala Harris political run, if you've got those women behind you,
You can do anything, right?
you can do anything. April 13th is Meet the Ballerina.
Yes. So this is the afternoon where you bring your little person or your not so little person. It's a beautiful program of ballet, but after the program, you will have the opportunity to meet one of our spectacular ballerinas. And you can line up and take a photo. They'll be in their tutu. And when my little one, she's now 12, but when she was little, that was her favorite day. That the opportunity to stand next to a ballerina and see them up close in person, and just, the magic of seeing these gorgeous dancers. So that's what will be happening on that Sunday afternoon.
Right. And is there like the ballerina in the company?
Not for us. We are not what you call a ranked company. Ranked company are the ones that have the core and the soloist and the principal, and it's all about sort of rising up. For us, they are all spectacular. They're all spectacular.
I love that. I love that. That's a great approach to to have. What about the return? Talk to us about that.
Yes. So this is a really special ballet that is created by our artistic director, Robert Garland. He created when he was the resident choreographer. And Arthur Mitchell gave him the opportunity to create works. He wanted to give him an opportunity to just push him out there a little bit. So Robert decided that he was going to create this spectacular ballet set to the music of James Brown and Aretha Franklin. And at the time, James Brown and Aretha Franklin were still alive and very close to Dance Union of Harlem. Aretha used to tell the story that she wanted to be a ballerina, so she would pluck one of the dancers and take him on tour with her. But this beautiful ballet is a celebration, again, of our culture. There's a Soul Train line in there. But it's what's spectacular about it is that people don't think of ballet in that way.
Sure,
They don't
sure.
think of, hearing these old songs, Baby, 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 and, just these beautiful songs and seeing ballet set to them. So it's one of my favorite ballets, I have to say.
Oh, well, great. Well, and that's, we'll be able to see that.
On the Saturday, on the
that-
Divine Nine
on the
HBC
Div-
night. Yes.
great,
yes.
great. So we'll have to squeeze in. So
Right. Everyone's welcome.
Okay,
Everyone's welcome.
great. We will definitely squeeze in. Listen, there was the cut. I want to talk about a famous photograph now. It's iconic now.
Thank you.
Talking about the Black women of Harlem, the cultural life. Look at this. I mean, that's just extraordinary. You know, we just interviewed Camilla Forbes from the
Yes.
Apollo, and we've interviewed Thelma Golden from the Studio Museum. And, you know, and now we have you. I mean, it's just such an incredible group of women. Talk to us about, I mean, do you actually hang out together?
We
That's the
do.
impression that
We do. Actually, we are on a text chain with one another. You know, I feel so fortunate. It is a real sisterhood. And, you know, this work is not easy. It is not easy running a nonprofit organization. And it's especially not easy leading a cultural organization. And so it is so spectacular, you know, being able to text Thelma and say, hey, how would you handle this?
right?
Or reach out to Camila and say, how are you doing? You know, how did that go? How did that event go? And you know, it knowing that you have these spectacular women by your side, I have to tell you, you know, it's saying that it means the world to me would just is an understatement, honestly.
Well, you all have such, I mean, there's the fun piece, there's the cultural piece, and for you all, there is the money piece. The fundraising
Absolutely.
is incredible. Thelma is opening up a brand new building
Yes.
this year. You are saying you'd like to redo yours.
Yes.
What do you see in the fundraising world?
You know, it's always a challenge. It's always a challenge. But what I find is that, like anything, it's about storytelling. It's about sharing why your institution is so important. You know, what I've loved about the work of Thelma and Sade Lithcott at National Black Theater, you know, they are brilliant storytellers about their organizations. You know, I get the great pleasure of being able to watch them as they are both going through building projects. And the Apollo just went through their building project.
Exactly, right.
You know, having all of that and seeing all of that allows me to sort of think about, okay, how am I going to approach this? You know, learning from one another. You know, fundraising's not easy. It's not easy, but it's a necessary part of the work that we do. And what I feel very fortunate about is that there are so many people out there in the world that know of Dance Theater of Harlem, that want to support the work of Dance Theater of Harlem, and believe deeply in the mission of this institution. They want more young people like your granddaughter coming through the doors of this institution. And so while it's not an easy part of the work that we do, you know, I think Thelma and Sade and Camila would all say, you know, it is important that our institutions are existing beyond the moments that we're in now. And so we have to do the work ensuring that we have the support, the financial support to continue going.
And what about the community that you all serve? I mean, I live of course, in Harlem as well, as we said, around the corner from you all. Do you find that the Harlem Black community is still there? I mean, there's been so much gentrification. I mean, are you doing this for the people who live in Harlem, or what's the sense
I would
of
say
it?
it's both and.
Yeah.
I would say that the Black community in Harlem is still present. It is still vibrant. It may look a little different than it did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, but it is still present. And I think still holding on to these critical parts of our institution, our cultural institutions especially. And I also will say that the new people who are coming into this community are also embracing these institutions, because I believe that they also understand what it means to be based in Harlem. You know, I don't think that there's going to be a world where our institutions are going to be pushed out.
Right.
You
You
know,
feel that there's a
do.
permanence, and certainly with all of the women represented with these cultural institutions.
Well, we're what makes it vibrant.
Right.
Our institutions are what make it vibrant. The Apollo Theater, National Black Theater, Studio Museum, Jazz Museum, all of our institutions are critical. It is why people want to move to Harlem, is the culture.
You, as a company, are seen all over the world. You've done a lot of, the members of the dance company have appeared on television shows. How important is that? And I think the outreach beyond Harlem, beyond the fundraisers, it's the outside world.
It's very important. It's very important. And, you know, it's been important since day one, to be honest with you. You know, we have been involved as a touring organization for decades. It's very much a part of the mission of this institution that we show up not only in the major markets, Los Angeles, Atlanta, DC, but also these smaller communities. Macon, Georgia. We'll be in Memphis this week. You know, it's important for us as an institution that, you know, we are representing what this art form can be. And so, you know, we need to show up because it's part of who we are. We need to show up because, you know, in order for this art form to thrive, we have to be out there in the world. And so, you know, it's deeply, deeply important. It's deeply important that we show up on television. It's deeply important that we show up in print because we are continuing to really put forth who we are out there in the world.
And your influences. So we've been lucky enough to interview Virginia Johnson here. We haven't done Robert Garland yet. So I'm sure we will do that as well. But you're being now giving such leadership because you are the face of the Dance Theater of Harlem with these other women creating, you know, all of this energy around it. What have been your influences, and how did you get to this particular point of?
Wow, I was a dancer millions of years ago, and you know, I grew up watching the old movies, the old, you know, Stormy Weather and Carmen Jones, and
Right.
I wanted to be in that world. I loved dancing since I was a little person, and I always have been passionate about Black culture. It's something that my parents really instilled in me, and so many of the people that I grew up watching, what has been so amazing is that I've now been able to engage with them, either in this role or as I have, you know, grown in my career as an arts administrator. You know, I have such reverence for Ben Vereen, and now seeing that he's our honorary chair for our gala and has been around our building. And I remember when I was 12 years old seeing him perform. And Carmen de Lavallée.
Ah, right. We share fandom for Carmen.
Right. Carmen, you know, she. I remember seeing her in Carmen Jones, and when I was an early administrator working for another institution, 651 Arts, I had the great fortune of producing a show called The Five First Ladies of Dance, and Carmen was part of that. And then she asked me, would I produce some of her work? And so a deep friendship, a familial relationship was developed over the years. And she is one of my favorite people. And I find that the work that I do today with Dance Theater of Harlem, I really am standing on the shoulders of these extraordinary individuals. Debbie Allen, you know, I feel deeply that what my job, in addition to paying the bills and keeping Dance Theater of Harlem moving, but I'm moving this institution in such a way that is paying homage to these legends who work so hard to create platforms for Black artists. And I just want to do my part in continuing that work, ensuring that, you know, their legacies are also continuing through my work.
Well, you're doing a terrific job.
Thank you.
there. Are you optimistic about the future of Harlem and the culture of Harlem? Are we in the midst of a new renaissance? Where are we in the time?
You know, I am optimistic. I'm not sure we're in the midst of a new renaissance. I think we are always evolving and always innovating. I think that some of the young people that I see creating work today, I'm amazed by how bold they are, fearless that they are, and I want them to continue feeling fearless. I also want to make sure that they know where they've come from, that's the piece that's really important to me, is really understanding we didn't we're not inventing the wheel, we are continuing in the motion. But I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about Dance Theater of Harlem. I'm optimistic about Harlem. And I think the cultural community moving forward is going to be very strong.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Before we let you go, though, you've got dance classes coming up for the summer.
We do.
So
we
just
have a lot.
for our viewers,
Yes.
let us know what that is about.
Yes.
Quickly.
So we have our summer program that is going to be coming up beginning in July. So if there are any young people out there that want to dance, come on over to Dance Theater of Harlem. And we have a great show actually coming up in May at the Apollo Theater, which is a family show, Harlem Mouse, Country Mouse, featuring our students and our company dancing together.
Ah, fantastic, fantastic. Anna, thank you so much for being with us today and for all of the work that you're doing. We want you to know that the Dance Theater of Harlem's Executive Director, Anna Glass, thanks so much. To donate, go to dancetheaterofharlem.org. That's it for us at this time. Thanks for joining. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. We'll see you the next time. And now you can download the CUNY TV app in your Apple Store or in Google Play and find us there.